a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image.
So if any man worship the beast and his image, so if you look at this sign right here, what do we have right here? The image of the beast, right? So read that again.
If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his in his forehead.
So what's the mark of the beast? What's the mark of the beast? In your forehead. The forehead is where your mind is. So that's the doctrine that comes with this image. What doctrine comes with this image right here? What doctrine?
Teach!
Sunday, worship, Christmas, Easter, all of that is paganism.
Talking about on a small scale. Buying and selling go between your cargoes, your sanctions. It ain't talking about me and you, my brother. Bring it out. Because some people say the market, like some teachers, some people say the market. So the market gonna keep you from buying and selling.
Now you can't show if the white man can force it in you. Can you not still repent? You should still be able to repent, right? See what I'm saying? So that's why I was reading the scripture about them having dominion over your body. So if they put that chip in you, guess what? Or you got the chip in you, don't know it. Guess what? You still should be able to repent and get into the kingdom of heaven regardless. Right. So.
Hi, this is Dr. Bertalan Mescu, the medical futurist, and today I want to talk about RFID chips and whether or not it's a good idea to implant one.
So you have something else that's really interesting in the newsletter about people in Sweden putting implants, microchips, right, into them. We've seen something like this here. There's a company that they're right, so they can get stuff out of the vending machine with these microchips. So what's happening in Sweden?
In the past couple of years, Sweden has seen a growing number of people getting microchips implanted under the skin. It was once a very niche thing among the most dedicated biohackers, but now it's becoming mainstream in the tech-savvy and open-minded Scandinavian nation. And I'm a proud geek, so I wanted to get one too. RFID technology has been around for a long time. It is a tag or a label that can exchange data with a reader through radio frequency, or RF, hence the name. There are thousands of applications for it. We use them in our credit cards, we tag our luggage with it, and we implant our pets with it, so they always carry contact information in case they get lost. It's a simple but wonderful technology. What's new is that now we can implant it in our body too. I asked my community if anyone has done it, and Eric Orlovsky, a Swedish anthropologist, came through, so I asked him what his experience was like.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I recently returned from my 3 months thesis fieldwork in Sweden, researching microchips, and now I'm here to answer a few questions about them. About popularity, I think it's important to understand that there's only about 5,000 people in Sweden with an implant, and out of a population of 10 million, so they're relatively popular but not super widespread. Much of the relative popularity, I think, stems from Sweden being a very tech-optimistic culture. So there's this willingness to try out new technologies without necessarily being worried about kind of the big risks or the kind of big things that could go wrong. I have a chip. I got it right here about 3 months ago when I started my research. And I got it for the same reason that I think many of the people I've spoken to have gotten one, and it's curiosity. Obviously, where it stems from is different depending on the individual. And in my case, it stemmed directly from my involvement in the research.
We're looking at the world's first living robots. That's right, these micro machines are in fact brand new programmable life forms that researchers believe could help clean microplastics from our oceans or even repair organs inside our bodies. So what exactly are these little things? And should we expect to see them whizzing through our bloodstreams anytime soon? Measuring less than 1 millimeter wide, these xenobots, as they're formally known, were created by researchers from the University of Vermont and Tufts University. Using stem cells harvested from the embryos of the African clawed frog and a sophisticated computer algorithm, they generated a blueprint design that allowed the team to then build a new form of life that has never existed before. Stem cells were first differentiated into skin and heart cells. The skin cells were chosen for their capability to bond together to form the passive architecture of the xenobot, while heart cells were selected for their ability to contract and relax, with the goal of manufacturing a type of tiny engine that would propel the xenobots. After observing the natural dynamics between the skin and heart cells, the data was fed into an evolutionary algorithm run on a supercomputer. Based on this data, the algorithm was able to generate millions of different cell configurations to test for a desired outcome, in this case, locomotion. And so began the test for survival. Only the fittest configurations advanced to the next stage, where their designs were then crafted into better digital models. After about 100 test runs, only the very best configurations were left. Thanks to the power of their evolutionary algorithm, the team finally had a winning blueprint for their new life forms. All they had to do now was create them. Sounds simple? Well, it wasn't. The team used tiny forceps and a microscope to painstakingly perform microsurgery on heart and skin cells to create their novel organisms. And voila, the researchers created their first xenobots. The biobots could propel themselves, moving in straight lines or in circles. They could work together, herding loose particles into tiny heaps. And when cut open, the xenobots healed themselves. Understanding exactly how cells do this is ultimately the goal behind this research. Cells are incredibly intelligent. There are still so many things that we don't know about how they work. Like, how do they communicate to build complex bodies, or even heal? If we could decode those signals, scientists could build smarter robots with pre-programmed tasks that would be biodegradable and biocompatible. And these little xenobots are just the first step in figuring out how to control anatomy on demand. I mean, just imagine all the applications of this type of research. If scaled up, xenobots could be used for regenerative medicine, like repairing organs, or growing body parts for transplant from the ground up. They could be created using a patient's own cells, then inserted into their bloodstream and programmed to clear the plaque from clogged arteries or to detect cancer. But the applications aren't just limited to the medical field. The team also envisions assigning individual tasks to a swarm of xenobots to collect microplastics from the ocean or search and collect radioactive contaminants. Now, a world full of custom, planet-saving xenobots sounds really cool, but you may have already asked yourself about the ethical implications for creating a totally new form of life. And you're not alone. The team has fully acknowledged that future iterations of xenobots could include nervous systems, blood vessels, or even reproductive parts. And it's these additions that are prompting many to wonder if xenobots should be considered more than just machines. There's also the tiny fact that the research is partially sponsored by DARPA's Lifelong Learning Machines program, which again has left some observers questioning the future direction of this research. However, the research team is open and encouraging of these ethical discussions in the public domain.
One day, you could have superhuman vision. Play your favorite albums in your head and download your brain to a computer or even to another body. Though this may sound like an episode of your favorite science fiction show, Elon Musk and his team at the neural tech startup Neuralink believe that their electronic brain-computer interfaces could make this possible. Described as Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
A Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
The small, easy-to-install brain-computer interface could be used to expand the capabilities of humans, changing the way we interact with technology and treat neural and mobility issues. Yet the goals of the company speaks to a potential problem in the future: artificial intelligence. Musk has been very vocal about his fear of artificial intelligence, believing AI could one day overshadow the human race. Musk's inevitable transhumanist goal of augmenting intelligence and abilities may be necessary if we are to compete with advanced artificial intelligence. However, Neuralink's team still has a long way to go before the emergence of AI-human hybrids. The tech company still has a lot of bureaucratic, ethical, and technological hurdles to cross. If Musk's companies accomplish half of what they claim, we could see the emergence of one of the most significant technologies in human history. But how does it work? Simply put, Neuralink is a technology that can help humans interact with machines using their brains. The company's eventual aim is to further develop brain-computer interfaces to the point where one can be installed in a doctor's office. Let's say you opted in to go in for a Neuralink procedure. What would that look like? Neuralink wants to make the installation of your brain-computer interface painless and quick, as easy as LASIK surgery. The design has changed significantly and now resembles a small coin around 8 millimeters in diameter, which houses electrodes that are about 1/20th the thickness of a strand of hair. To install the Neuralink, a tiny piece of skull is removed and the Neuralink is slotted in to sit flush with the skull. Since this process needs to be extremely precise, the Neuralink team has created a robot specifically for this procedure. The entire process could take less than an hour while you are under partial anesthesia. Installing the device will only leave a tiny scar and include all the sensors one would expect in a smartwatch. Once installed, the device will be able to send and receive electrical signals through your brain and use these to control machines. In its early stages, it could allow control of basic devices like a computer and other smart devices. But how? Your brain sends information to different parts of your body using neurons. Neurons in your brain connect with each other to form a network and communicate using chemical signals called neurotransmitters. This reaction generates an electric field. By placing electrodes nearby, you can record these reactions. The electrodes translate these signals into an algorithm that a computer can read. Down the road, Elon Musk claims that the device could be used to operate robots, cure paralysis, treat mental illness, to stream music directly into the wearer's brain, and extend the range of hearing beyond normal frequencies. Just like Neo in the Matrix, you would be able to download skills into your brain. You could even possibly summon your Tesla telepathically. In 2020, Neuralink demonstrated the device installation in a pig. The wildly anticipated demo showed that a living animal can function normally after having one implanted and then removed. Musk has announced that Neuralink received breakthrough device designation from the FDA in July 2020. This is a major step towards eventually mass-producing Neuralink devices. Who knows? Maybe Neuralink will allow us to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence. Would you get a Neuralink implant?